A woman in my section wants to know if we do anything gluten-free. What do I tell her? Tell her she's not allergic to gluten. She's just masking an eating disorder.
At Jewelers Mutual, we're a little obsessed with jewelry. Obsessed like auctioneers with talking fast.
50, we're going to fit so.
Pop stars with auto-tune.
Yeah.
And dentists with asking questions.
So, how did he propose?
After they've put their hands in your mouth.
Great.
Yes, we've made jewelry our obsession for over 100 years. We love it so much, we named our kids Ruby, Amber, and Opal.
Venti soy latte for Opal?
At Jewelers Mutual, we insure jewelry and only jewelry, which is why people who are also obsessed with jewelry trust us with theirs.
Let's face it, where you're betting is just as important as who you're betting on. That's why I go to mybookie.ag. It's fast, it's easy, and they pay you when you win. Look, I wouldn't be telling you to bet mybookie.ag if they weren't the best. Do the smart thing. If you're going to bet this football season, bet with mybookie.ag. That's mybookie.ag.
They're killing me. Why are they killing me?
What do we do? This just got way too complicated.
I've got it. Here's what's going down. Corey, you talk to your team. You guys are going to decline that holding call.
Done.
Yo, wait, but
Hold on. Trayshawn, once we break this huddle, you're going to get out there, do some crazy celebration. I'm talking some humpies. Whatever you got to do, you do it.
Okay, I got you.
I'm going to call unsportsmanlike conduct on the celebration, giving the Whites better field position after the kickoff. Coach, I need you to talk to your team about letting them run that kickoff back.
Why would I do that?
Think about it. Defense, special team, it's all one. You let them run that kickback, both your defenses get 6 points.
Nice.
Okay, everyone good here?
Yeah.
Nope. Once again, my kicker is getting no love. Oh, shut up, Bill. Your team is in first place. Plus, you're about to get extra point for the PAT.
Yeah, don't be greedy, Bill.
Stop being greedy, Bill.
Bill.
Fine.
Bill. Yeah, Bill.
I said fine.
Bill.
Bill.
Yeah, Bill.
You, Bill.
All right, let's do this. Get out there.
Wait a minute. Trayshawn comes in with a very delayed celebration here. Oh, wow. I'm pretty sure that's going to be yeah, there it is. Another
armchair. Do you want to lose 18 pounds fast and improve your health? Now you can lose up to 18 pounds in your first 2 months with Nutrisystem. Get delicious breakfasts, lunches, dinners, even snacks and shakes delivered safely to your door. All delivered for free. It's easy to follow, and you'll see results in your first week. Just text BURN to 323232. You'll get your favorite foods made healthier and perfectly balanced to put your body in fat burning mode. Text BURN to 323232 right now and get 50% off a month of meals and shakes. That's right, 50% off a month of meals and 50% off a month of shakes with probiotics to help support your immune system. Just text BURN to 323232 right now. There's even a money-back guarantee. Millions of people have lost weight with Nutrisystem, and you can too. Lose up to 18 pounds in your first 2 months. Just text BURN to 323232. That's BURN to 323232.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out.
Georgie, would you like some Jell-O?
Why'd you put the bananas in there?
George likes the bananas.
So let him have bananas on the side.
All right, please, I cannot have this constant bickering. Stress is very damaging to the epidermis.
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, and flat out deceived.
There's something kind of about a kid that's never played baseball.
But what the hell, boy?
Make sure to listen to the Armchair Quarterbacks. Good enough for us down here in the bayou. Go Tigers and the Armchair Quarterbacks.
It's morning.
Yes, and what a lovely morning.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Tim Tebow! Tim Tebow! Tim Tebow! Tim Tebow! Oh, look at Tebow! Tebow! No!
Armchair.
You're listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks on CBS Sports Radio, #1 sports station.
Good morning. and this is your Armchair Quarterbacks Sports Flash. Major League Baseball for Tuesday, August 17th gets us started with a doubleheader that will be a split in the Bronx. 1:05 first pitch has the Red Sox and Yankees and Nathan Eovaldi on the mound, and then they'll wait till 7:05 Eastern. As the part of that doubleheader, the Yankees will counter with Andrew Heaney. 7:10. The Braves are back at the Marlins. Huascar Ynoa is expected to make his debut from the injured list. Waiting for him is Sandy Alcantara and his 3.52 ERA. Orioles and Rays, John Means keeps plowing along with his 3.21 ERA. He'll try to upset the Rays in Tampa with Josh Fleming. Cubs and Reds, Kyle Hendricks, Vladimir Gutierrez. The Cubs, the Reds, 7:10 Eastern in Cincinnati. At 7:45, the Brewers are at the Cardinals. Corbin Burns will face Adam Wainwright. St. Louis way back in the divisional race. This is their last shot. At 7:05, Blue Jays at Nationals. Manoah is at Joe Ross. Angels and Tigers. Oh my, those are bad teams. Dylan Bundy and Casey Mize on the hill. And at 8:05, it's the Mariners at the Rangers. Seattle still fighting for that AL wildcard spot. Tyler Anderson versus Spencer Howard. Indians and Twins. Eli Morgan versus Bailey Ober. Only fantasy baseball or a severe gambling problem has you tuned in. Astros are at the Royals. Framber Valdez in Houston will try to knock out the Royals and Daniel Lynch as the boys from Texas are trying to secure yet another AL West division title. A's and White Sox, Bassett and Ronaldo Lopez, 1.35 ERA. Yu Darvish and the Padres are in Colorado to battle the Rockies. And Herman Marquez, with his winning record, which is saying something for a Rockies pitcher, and a 3.77 ERA is even more impressive. At 9:40, it's the Phillies. They're in Arizona. They'll send Kyle Gibson to the mound in the desert to face Merrill Kelly. Marcus Stroman and the Mets are back in San Fran tonight, and they have the daunting task of beating the Giants and Logan Webb. And the Pirates and Brubaker, they'll try to shock them all on ESPN Plus as they will face the LA Dodgers. Barely 3.5 weeks after the news initially broke that Texas and Oklahoma were seeking to join the Southeastern Conference, Major College Athletics appears to be set to redraw its boundaries once again. A potential scheduling alliance under discussion between the ACC, Big Ten, and Pac-12 would serve as a compelling answer to the SEC's raid of two of the nation's top programs from the Big 12. The SEC, with its 16 teams, would be armed with some of the biggest brands and rivalries in college football. And the Big Ten, ACC, and Pac-12 would be attempting to come close to see if that alliance could be finalized by then. What is this about? It's all about the TV money. With Texas and Oklahoma, the SEC can now brand itself as having approximately 10 of the best rivalries of all time within the walls of the conference. A scheduling alliance across the Big Ten, ACC, and Pac-12 is the best way for the leagues to approximate that total and enhance the television money within the compelling non-conference matchups. The TV media rights games networks are basically paying for the Ohio State, Michigan in the Big Ten, Duke and North Carolina basketball games in the ACC, and USC, UCLA in the Pac-12 every year, along with other big matchups such as Florida State versus Clemson, Florida State, Miami, and other Big Ten matchups. The Pac-12 essentially living and dying on just a few games. The rescheduling would call for all three conferences to play within each other on a national stage being shared by television rights. And that's your Armchair Quarterbacks Sports Flash. Stay tuned for the Armchair Quarterbacks radio show and YouTube Live. Please like, subscribe, and share our show today. The Armchair Quarterbacks, your first choice for sports talk, live from the First Coast. Get ready for fantasy football. Your draft is just around the corner, and the Armchair Quarterbacks have you covered. It's the Handicappers, Saturday mornings, 10 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern. Mock drafts, cheat sheets, sleepers, and busts. It's the Armchair Quarterbacks Handicappers on YouTube Live. We'll give you everything you need to dominate your leagues. Watch the Handicappers Saturdays, 10 a.m. to noon Eastern Time, because getting ready for your fantasy football draft is more important than whatever the hell you're thinking about right now. Good morning. It's time to wake up, y'all. You're listening to the Armchair Quarterback Show. We're here weekdays on CBS Radio, YouTube Live, 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 Central, 5 Pacific. The Armchair Quarterback Show, your first choice for Southern sports talk. Good morning, Mr. Justin Waller.
Good morning. I don't know much, but I know one thing. Me computer shopping is one of them old man moments. Get off my lawn. That is the most laughable thing. Thank you, Best Buy, for playing along. And I lost my co-host with that laughter.
I don't know much, but I know one thing. Now all I can think of is Justin installing his new computer and connecting to the internet, going, beep, bang, 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 beep, bang.
I remember those days.
I just know you like to find yourself a deal. You're listening to the Armchair Quarterback.
Here, I made some bologna sandwiches.
Bologna? Nobody eats bologna anymore.
What are you talking about? Have a sandwich.
No, thanks.
Oh, stop it. You don't want one, Kramer?
No thanks.
I think you're all a little touched in the head. You're so worried about your health? You're young men.
I really don't eat it.
What am I going to do with all these sandwiches? Will you take them home? Give them to someone in your building?
I don't know if I feel comfortable handing out bologna sandwiches in the building. Armchair.
Community Access Channel.
He's the armchair quarterback. He's full of beer and he's full of snacks. The all-American man with a groove under his teeth.
Top of the morning to you. Welcome to the Armchair Quarterback Show. Mac McGee and Justin Waller. Justin, how the hell are you this morning, sir?
I'm doing great. I know how to work my phone. So when a guy walks in and tells you he wants to buy something, don't talk him into something different. This is the whole point of the story, because now I bought one of each because I got to figure out who was right. And that's how you solve those debates.
Fair enough. I know one thing. I like to wake up in the morning and see that the Braves have gained another half game on the Phillies and a full game on the New York Mets, as the Mets are doing Mets types things. They're not 3.5 behind Atlanta. I bet you if you talk to a Mets fan at the trading deadline, which, by the way, y'all, was only 18 days ago, 17 days ago. It was the 30th, so 18 days ago. The trading deadline, we're talking about just 18 days. The Braves have gone from, I was looking at it this morning because I was curious about it. I was like, how far have they? They've gone from 4 behind the Mets to 3.5 above. That's hard to do unless you're trying to lose. That is, I mean, if you're not named the Baltimore Orioles, that is a difficult task, my friend, to lose 7.5 games in the standings in 17 days.
It is, and likewise, I mean, the Phillies have just kept on winning, and the Braves have found offense, and they have found a way to shore up the rotation and pin to secure some W's. So it's been a nice change of events. It's been a painful season for us Braves fans, but hopefully this is the start to stretch out and hopefully finish another division up top.
And it's Huascar Ynoa comeback day. He will take the mound for the Atlanta Braves. Of course, we haven't seen him in a little over 2 months when he punched the bench because he had a bad outing. So, you know, if you give him,
I forgot all about that. Yeah.
If you he punched the bench and then I punched the wall when I found out that he punched the bench. I was like, what the hell is he doing?
I remember the injury, but I forgot it was self-inflicted.
Yeah, I didn't punch the wall. I stuck my head through the wall when I tripped and fell. old man injuries. But Wasker, it comes back today. Now the Phillies are going to be out in Arizona. You got to play well because they're not going to lose many games out there. They will have to play San Diego. And I hate to keep harping on this because people are like, are you just an anti-Padres fan? Dude, they lost again and the Reds won again. The Reds are hot on their damn heels. And all this chatter at the trading deadline when we could not figure out what in the hell the Reds were doing. Well, they were looking at the Padres schedule and they were like, You know what? You know what? So you're telling me there's a chance. There's a real chance now. I mean, an absolute chance. And if you look at the standings right now and you wake up this morning, the Rays beat Baltimore, the Yankees won. So Rays are 3.5 and 5.5 in front of Boston and New York. Boston, New York play a doubleheader today, by the way. One of them, it's a makeup game. So you'll get 1 o'clock and 7 o'clock. So if you're looking for some afternoon action, that's the place to go is Red Sox, Yankees. White Sox cruising, no point in talking about it. Astros are 2.5 up, and then Braves 1.5, 3.5. We already said that. Milwaukee, they're still comfortable. They're 7.5 up, and the Giants are still 4 up. Unbelievable how them and the Dodgers keep winning and winning and winning, and the Padres are now 11 games out of first place. And then if you look at the wild card, and this is what I was getting at, the Reds are 1.5 back of the Padres, when at the trading deadline they were almost double digits back. I looked at it this morning. I think it was 8 or 9. It was somewhere in that neighborhood. And I remember at the time we were like, how the hell are they going to catch? Well, this is how they're going to catch them. They're going to lose very little games, and the Padres are going to lose a lot. The last 10 games, the Reds have only made up 1 game, but it was a stretch before that. And then the Padres, of course, will play the Phillies this weekend. So, I mean, I'm for one right now this week pulling against the Padres because I want them to be hungry come this weekend. They're like, we got to get it together, guys. We got to get it together. But the Padres, man, they are just absolutely free falling right now. And they lost to the Rockies last night, and they're going to send Matt Strahm. Yeah, that Matt Strahm, the guy you never heard of with the 8.44 ERA. They're going to send him to the hill against German Marquez in Colorado. Take the over. That's all I'm saying, man. Take the over on that one.
Took the words right out of my mouth. I mean, the NL West is just still a head scratcher to me all the way around. I mean, I walked into this season thinking we're going to talk about how the Padres have a chance to dethrone the Dodgers, and then the Giants come out of nowhere, and it's just same old for the Padres. It's like you can't seem to get out of your own way.
Yeah, we both had the Padres making the playoffs. You had the Padres winning the division. Okay, but I think you had them making the play. No. You had the Padres as a wild card. Okay, sorry. I have not looked at this since we made these predictions. They're not terrible. Maybe we can get into that next week.
Yeah, we need to revisit that because I think the White Sox might be my only saving hope. I don't quite.
I could laugh at your Twins, but remember, the Kansas City Royals were my watch out team, and they were doing great about 60 games in, and for the last 70 games, they haven't done a damn thing.
Yeah, let's don't revisit that. How about we talk about that on a Wednesday or Thursday?
We'll get into that next week at some point, but today we got to get rolling because first of all, hit the first quarter. I don't want to spend much time on this because we got to talk about the Panthers, but the news coming out yesterday, everyone saw it. There's a lot of reactions that the Pac-12, Big Ten, and ACC are talking about doing an alliance. And I think the way it was reported, I think people are misunderstanding what it is. What they're talking about is doing a scheduling alliance. They're not like trying to block out the SEC, which is impossible. They're not necessarily blocking out the Big 12 because it still exists, but everybody knows it's about to crumble. What they're talking about doing is trying to do something where the way that kind of like in basketball where you have the challenge. They're wanting to do something where they put some of their bigger names on the screen to get more eyeballs. Because the fact of the matter, I said it in the Sports Flash, the SEC can claim that they have about 10 of the top 15 to 20 rivalry, like big matchup games, your traditional matchups every year. Okay. And so what they're trying to do is they're going to try to create some big matchups. They may not necessarily be rivalries, but I'm for one and for this because I would like to see some like Clemson versus USC, Florida State versus Northwestern, the Miami versus Ohio State,
Kansas
would be a good one. Yeah. But no, in all seriousness, I would like to see some of these cross brandings. Now, they're not all going to be home runs. You're going to get the Wake Forest versus Oregon State, but you're going to get others that'll be intriguing. And it also makes, you know what it also does? It takes a lot of pressure off the athletic directors to worry about going around and scheduling these games. Now, my only concern would be if I'm in the SEC is, what does that leave us for out of conference games? Now, some of them are already built in. Some of them you don't have to worry about. Like Florida's going to play Florida State. Georgia's going to play Georgia Tech, Clemson, South Carolina, all that stuff. But the only thing you'd be concerned about is like Tennessee does not have a traditional rival outside of the conference. So who do they partner up with long term? If it's not in one of those conferences, because you and I've talked about for years, we would love to see a Virginia Tech Tennessee yearly rivalry. It'd be a lot of fun considering the proximity of those two. But I would say the SEC would then try to get involved in that and somehow, because you don't want to be out there playing Middle Tennessee State or something, what say you?
I think it's interesting. I think it will create the product, and I think I took it more along the lines of what you laid out. I think it's kind of going to be like the basketball, the challenges. But I think it creates a product that there and can compete with the SEC to challenge some of those big. Well, I mean, you're competing for time slots. You're going to have the big marquee matchups and some of those big money games for your advertisers and your schools. So you're trying to level the playing field and make an equal product. And if you do, that might be when we finally see that super conference. If it ever does just go under one title, under one roof per se. I don't know that you'll get there, but I do think it's interesting. And I'm like you, where do you go for your marquee matchups outside if you are the SEC, if they band together and they pull the ACC in? Because that's a lot of your natural rivalries right there. Based, once you factor in what you've already just brought in with Texas and Oklahoma and the Texas A&M rivalries that you had, not to mention Arkansas, Texas. So you're piling them on westerly, and you need to expand some of your SEC teams to have those out of division rivals, and the ACC is just a natural mix. So maybe they strike first.
Yeah, I would like to see. I would like to see a partnership. Hell, if the SEC smart, jump in front of this, say ACC, come here, dude. You don't want to be playing freaking California. Yeah. Come on, dude. Come on. Let's figure something out. We've already got a handful that are already in play with Florida and Florida State and Georgia Tech, South Carolina and Clemson. But let's make Virginia Tech, Tennessee happen, right? Or Virginia, North Carolina. Either one. I'm sorry.
I mean, Vandy, Duke. I mean, let's just.
Tennessee, North Carolina. I would like to see one of those. Give me one of those. That would be great rivalries. And then you've got plenty of other teams that can mix and match, and you could really, I don't have lay them all out. Maybe we'll do that down the road. But when I'm thinking of teams that could come in and play. You're talking about one thing, please, whatever they do, if you're going to make this like a regular thing, don't load us up with like Texas is going to take on Wake Forest every year. Can we get them? Can we get them matched up with someone who has a legitimate chance of beating each other? Right.
Right. So Clemson and Alabama are playing. Let's figure out the rest.
Right, exactly. yeah, because this Clemson South Carolina thing, that was cute, but it's not working.
I mean, South Carolina can play NC State or something, or North Carolina. That makes a great rivalry. Let's just North and South.
Or maybe you fill some of them up with, okay, for instance, Florida State. So there's 14 teams in the ACC right now. There's 16 in the SEC going to be. Florida State already plays Florida, but let's say you say, well, we're going to get you to double up, but your second game won't be as daunting as Florida, right? I'm not saying this has to be Vanderbilt, but it doesn't necessarily also have to be Alabama either.
You can play Tennessee. It's okay. I'll say it.
Well, I would take.
I mean, they might be worse than Vandy. I mean,
that would be fun. Right now, I think we're on an even scale.
You think more highly about your team than I do mine.
I mean, well, what I'm just saying is that Florida State and Tennessee right now are probably about even Steven if they played on the field. We might have a slight edge this year because of all the transfers, but honest engine, these two programs are about at the same place. So that would be, and maybe this would pressure Notre Dame in and go, screw it, let's join the ACC, and you could get Notre Dame versus Alabama or Notre Dame versus Auburn, right? That to me would be, it makes geographical sense that the Big Ten and Pac-12 would clash and the SEC and ACC would clash, because the Big Ten and Pac-12 for years have been in the Rose Bowl. So people would love to see those matchups. And plus, my eyes hurt when I watch Oregon State football, so I don't want to have to watch that on, I don't have to.
The question will be, who lands Notre Dame? Do they go with a traditional location, the Big Ten, where they make sense, or do they keep playing with the ACC? Who lands them?
I think if they're smart, they go ACC because of the basketball contract they have as well. And so from a standpoint also, they won't get, so they'll have something to sell to kids that are in that Indiana area that no other Big Ten team can sell to them. And that is the opportunity to play against these Southern teams. Right.
But for this euphoric multi-conference to work, to have the big, the Big 12, Pac-12, whatever we have left of the Big 12, you need to land Notre Dame. You've already lost Texas. I mean, that's two of your big money markets that you have lost already if you don't land Notre Dame. Notre Dame might be the key.
SEC? Is that what you're talking
No,
about?
I'm saying for the Pac-12 to not be able to land them and move them out with and keep them in it.
Gotcha.
Because I just don't see that the SEC will sit by and just watch this happen. I fully anticipate that there are going to be conversations between the SEC and ACC.
I do believe you're going to get teams from Texas ending up in the Pac-12. I really do. I think the TCUs and whatnot, it's going to make a lot of sense. So I do think they're going to have the Texas market, but to your point, they don't have the two iconic brands, right? Yeah. A Baylor's going to have to become a national power or something like that. You're going to have to build from scratch. It's kind of like, it's kind of like playing the stock market. They're going to buy low and hope things work out. Let's go ahead and move on to the Carolina Panthers. And
speaking of Baylor.
Yes. Speaking of Baylor, they've got something interesting going on this year. They're bringing in Sam Darnold, and I found it very interesting. I'm sure we talked about this, but I guess it escaped my memory. They're starting off at home with the New York Jets. So this is a fun first game of the season. And looking at the Panthers before we get into their schedule real quick, to me, I think it all comes down to what can they do with Sam Darnold. And if they can do big things, which they obviously would never have made that trade if they didn't think they could do big things. This team can be very competitive. But if he ends up being a flop, like Jets fans are going to try to tell you that he is, then it's going to be a different kind of year. What is your gut feeling about this going into the season?
Sam Darnold and Matt Rule are about to fully expose Adam Gase. He is not the quarterback whisperer. We know he's not. Look how good Ryan Tannehill is. That's a pretty good quarterback that was just let go for nothing. I think you're going to see it again right here. Matt Rule knows he's got talent in a quarterback, and I think he sees a guy with some talent that was left undeveloped. And I think it will be a very productive year. They've reshored up the offensive line. You bring in DJ Moore to add to that as well. You've got C-Mac back, hopefully fully healthy. You drafted Chuba Howard to put out in the backfield to kind of offset that and put you a little bit of change of pace, or, God forbid you have another injury. You've got someone to hopefully move forward to and carry the rock.
What a perfect guy to draft too. So if something does happen to McCaffrey, look, nobody's McCaffrey, but he's more like McCaffrey than Mike Davis was, right?
Well, I mean, he can just be a change of pace, a breath. And I mean, obviously he's not going to walk in as a rookie and be C-Mac, but the potential is there for him to be a change of pace and you really not miss a stride.
And JC Horn was a big, I remember when we were doing the mock drafts. Yeah, it's funny. Every year I always ask myself, why do we do these damn mock drafts? And then every year I'm like, I'm glad we did those damn mock drafts because now I know who these players are. But he was highly thought of. He ended up going 21st overall, I think it was the draft pick. But the addition of JC Horn in the draft, I think is going to help them out immensely because they gave up a lot of big chunk plays through the air. Brian Burns continues to be a really good player. Derek Brown, the Auburn guy, they're building something. And then, of course, I can't leave him out. Your boy, Daquan Jones. That's a pretty good defensive line that's young. But I think they're building a pretty solid defense when it's all said and done. And they had.
I'm ecstatic about it. I was a little questioning the map rule project, but after what I've seen so far, hey, I'll eat a little crow. Right now, I like what he's building, and it seems to me that he's adding a lot of depth and a lot of key pieces, and I think that's what it's going to take, especially within the division that they're in, where you finally overcome Drew Brees' career, and you're like, wow, man, here's our chance. And oh yeah, by the way, this TB12 showed up last year and spoiled that party. So this could be the team move forward that's going to be the elephant in the room. Can they attack and hang in there with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
But in 7 or 8 years, Sam Darnold will be a seasoned veteran. Brady will be hopefully retiring at around that time period. And so the team will be ready to roll.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's go ahead and get into the schedule real quick as we'll rattle through these. The first 4, you got Jets. If I don't say at, it's at home. You got Jets and Saints, at Texans, at Cowboys. Eagles.
3-1.
Okay.
Okay, my bad.
No. That's fine. So 3-1, you got them. Okay. The Cowboys is the loss. Is that where you see it?
Most likely, yes.
All right. So then it's Eagles, Vikings, at Giants, at Falcons. This is a fairly manageable schedule, by the way, especially to start off.
I mean, I could honestly go 3-1 again, but I'll go 2-2.
All right. Patriots, at Cardinals, Washington, at Miami.
2-2.
And then they'll finish off the 5-game sled of Falcons, at Bills, Bucks, at Saints, at Bucks.
That's brutal.
It is. But if they've got a decent run before then, this team's going to be in the playoff picture coming out of Thanksgiving is the way I see it. Where do you see them at the end of the season?
I mean, 10-7 is about what I have penciled. I can get there multiple different ways. I could see 11-6. I just don't expect this team to go out and be a 15-2 team. But I think they can split with the Bucks and possibly sweep out the other 2 teams. The Falcons are going to be the biggest test there, and I think the Saints. I'm just not expecting.
How about this?
The great things out of Winston and Hill.
Are you ready to go run to the window in Vegas?
What's up?
The Panthers over under is 7.5.
Oh, I'll take that all day.
And you get plus 110 if you take the 7.5 over, minus 130 if you take the under. That's hard to believe. Because I'm with you. I think this team's closer to 10 wins.
I think that's just no love in Sam Darnold.
That's exactly what it is, because it's a pretty look. Let's be honest. TB12 was smart. He knew Brees was retiring. This is a piss poor division.
Yeah.
The Falcons are not going to be very good. And the Saints are probably going to be worse than that. They don't have Michael Thomas. And I don't think he's going to be on that field anytime soon. That team is, oof. I'll tell you what, Carolina's got a chance to. I'm not saying they're going to win the division because I do believe that the Bucks are the team head and shoulders, but they're going to flirt with the wild card. What is your walk off for the day, sir?
But you might need to put a little show side money on that Panthers to win the division.
Yeah,
in a hypothetical world where points matter, some tokens.
I agree. We'll definitely do this in the very near future. Maybe Friday, go over the over-unders for all the teams right now on the NFL because there's some very interesting ones. I'll tell you there's one I wouldn't touch because Texans 5. I wouldn't touch that.
Now that's a story. I'm sure by Friday we'll have lots to talk about with the Texans.
Yeah, hopefully. Because I know one thing, Trevor Bauer, what the hell, man? I don't know if we'll ever see that guy pitch again. Every story gets creepier. He better sign a book deal quick, man, because he's about to get gutted for his money. All right, brother.
It's like 50 Shades of Bauer or something. I mean, that's a movie.
50 Shades of Bowels.
I got to go on that note.
All right, brother. We'll see you on Friday for Alabama. We'll be back in a flash on the Armchair Quarterbacks. Bobby's with us, and we're going to be jumping into some fantasy football, and we're going to be talking the Baltimore Ravens. Keep it locked in here on CBS Sports Radio and YouTube Live.
Now, if you want to crown them, but they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
The Armchair Quarterback Show, weekdays, coast to coast, Southern Sports Talk Radio. Your first choice for sports talk, live from the First Coast.
Slide here is your ex, but if that's the call, Mike, Will, and Sam all have to know this shit. Open palms are post, thumbs ups across her, thumbs downs and out. Trevor, why don't you get up here and draw that for us?
Playing real football is hard. Playing fantasy football when you got the Armchair Quarterbacks by your side makes it a lot easier. Make sure to join the Armchair Quarterbacks right here. We'll answer all your questions, pickups, trades, you name it. You want to win your league? Then listen to the Armchair Quarterbacks. And don't be scared to tap that app. Find the Armchair Quarterbacks app today.
Fantasy football time.
Do you want to lose 18 pounds fast and improve your health? Now you can lose up to 18 pounds in your first 2 months with Nutrisystem. Get delicious breakfasts, lunches, dinners, even snacks and shakes delivered safely to your door. All delivered for free. It's easy to follow, and you'll see results in your first week. Just text BURN to 323232. You'll get your favorite foods made healthier and perfectly balanced to put your body in fat burning mode. Text BURN to 323232 right now and get 50% off a month of meals and shakes. That's right, 50% off a month of meals and 50% off a month of shakes with probiotics to help support your immune system. Just text BURN to 323232 right now. There's even a money-back guarantee. Millions of people have lost weight with Nutrisystem, and you can too. Lose up to 18 pounds in your first 2 months. Just text BURN to 323232. That's BURN to 323232.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out.
What's happening in sports? Find out when it happens. Get the CBS Sports app free in the Android market and iTunes App Store.
Are you a gun enthusiast? Love to shop for guns? We're also looking for friendly service. Well, you're in luck. Here in St. Augustine, Top Gun Supply is the friendly gun shop. Staff is very knowledgeable, happy to see you when you walk through the door, and can assist you with all your gun shopping needs. Top Gun Supply stocks a wide range of firearms, such as Ruger, Beretta, Sig Sauer, HK, and LWRC. So stop on by at Top Gun Supply at 525 State Road 16 in St. Augustine. Top Gun Supply here in St. Augustine, the friendly gun shop, a proud sponsor of the Armchair Quarterbacks.
This helpful instructional message from the National Association of People Who Have Trouble Walking and Chewing Gum at the same time. Step, chew, step, chew, step, chew, step, chew.
SEC, SEC, SEC.
Now with Prime.
You done messed up, Aaron. Now take your ass on down to Oshag Hennessy's office right now and tell him exactly what you did.
Oshag Hennessy.
Principal O'Shaughnessy?
Get out of my damn classroom before I break my foot off in your ass. Insubordinate and churlish. Timothy.
Present.
Thank you.
Welcome back. CBS Sports Radio, as we're waiting for Bobby to join us. He is here. He's just trying to figure some things out. And we're getting ready for another mock draft here as hopefully he has found it. I don't know if you're one of the, y'all always confuse me, if you're not using your name, so I don't know.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm in.
Which one are you? Matt, Jess, Mark?
In the fantasy thing? I couldn't get in that one. The only ones are 7 minutes away. I can't join one that's 4 minutes. It's not letting me get in those. The deadline, I guess, was cut off. If you want to leave and join in one, we can get in one.
Do one right now, but you're gonna have to be fast.
Okay.
You can't Doug me again. Went through this yesterday. I don't know why everyone else can figure them out, but you and Doug's 55. You're 15. You should be able to understand.
I only see 7, now 6. All right, do you see the ones with 6 minutes?
We're not going that far out, so you're gonna have to be quicker than that.
That's the only one that lets me join.
We're gonna go to Naked Bootleg. Naked Bootleg. It's in hell. Where the hell did it go?
I think I see it. Is it the most? Is it the highest one?
Go 2 minute warning. Go 2 minute warning. I just jumped on that one. It's like a minute out, but you got to be quick because it moves around.
Shoot. 2 minute warning.
There's.
All right, I got it.
It's like 50 seconds left or whatever. Are you Thomas? Because I don't see it. All right.
There we go. There we go. Number 5.
All right, there you go. So you're right next to you, which was a terrible idea. So I'll go ahead and get away from you and go to number 1 because we don't want to be on top of each other. All right. So let's go ahead and get into the Ravens while we're waiting for this to set up, and then I'm going to get the screen set up and everything. All right. Baltimore Ravens this year. What, obviously I think the key is going to be Lamar Jackson. Does he learn how to throw the forward pass? Because if this team has a good defense and a good running game and a dynamic player like Lamar Jackson, and that's it, they're going to do exactly what they did last year. They're going to get in the playoffs. They might win a game, but they're eventually going to run into a buzzsaw that they can't hang with, right? Do you think he takes the next step?
I think this year this will determine whether or not he's really a quarterback that can be an elite passer. I'm not sure what Bateman's health looks like, but right now they added him in the first round. They signed Sammy Watkins, and they still have Marquise Brown. So they have a much improved receiving core compared to the last 2 years. So I think this year needs to be Lamar year that he steps up throwing the ball.
But will he? Because I have no faith in him. I think he might be what the hell did I just do here? All right. Can you see the actual draft now?
Yeah.
Okay.
I see about 2 minutes out.
I don't know what I hit before that. But anyways, all right. So I went ahead and took the first pick. I don't know if I've done a first pick yet or not. I usually put myself web because I have the worst luck in these draws. I'm always like 6th in a 10-man draft. I'm like, crap. I'd rather be at the very bottom or the very top. I hate dead center in the middle. I did pull the did you look at the draft order for our league yet?
I believe I got the 5th pick, right?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Oh.
Believe it or not, you narcissistic bastards. I don't memorize everyone in your league. I get these texts from people, where am I drafted? I don't know. Look on the app, you jackass. It was one thing 20 years ago when the app wasn't there. It's another thing, these same old bastards. The Matt Cars of the world, okay? Wins the draft. It's on the app, you dumbass. So I've decided this year what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell people the wrong time. And then that way they get auto drafted by about 30 minutes. Because I'm tired of it. I'm like, I don't know. It's like stupid. Just absolutely dumb. Like the guy that bailed out of one of our leagues.
Mm-hmm.
This is a dynasty league that we've had for 3 or 4 years. Oh, yeah, I'm going to be all in it. He tells me 6 days before you have to do keepers, I'm not going to play anymore. Like, you suck at life, dude. Like, how hard is it to play in a fantasy football league?
If you join a dynasty league, you got to commit to it. That's the commitment.
Right. But
luckily,
I found someone who likes to. You were actually going to be the next guy I was going to text, but this guy's been trying to get in a league for a while. And I was like, if he doesn't play, I said, the good chances Bobby will outlive all of us. So I got to get him in a dynasty league. All right. That'll be the next thing I'm going to have to endure over the years. Well, this guy died. Who wants his team? And then it's all going to come screeching halt and goes, dude, McGee died. It's over, man. We don't know when the draft
like the
is.
commissioner. Oh, there we go.
Of these, I forget to mute my damn the sounds. Okay, I'm not going to be stupid. I'm going to do what I should do, which is take Christian McCaffrey. When healthy, the best player. It'll get to you here in a second. After you draft, let's get back into the Ravens. I'm going to pull up their schedule real quick, and we're going to go through it. But I think the whole thing comes down to, what does Lamar Jackson do? Did he go out and did he learn the quarterback position over these last several months? Or is he just going to rely on his God-given ability to run? Because eventually that's going to fall away, right? I mean, he's got to learn how to throw the ball. He's one of those inaccurate passers there is. You can't live off of that. So did you already pick?
Yeah, I just picked Kamara.
Okay, so it went McCaffrey, Cook, Elliott, Henry, and you went Kamara. So 5 running backs. Chubb goes after that. So this is a running back run. Now, the reason why we do these 8-man ones during the week is because you just don't have enough time to do the others. So it'll come back to you here in a second. Okay, but we'll go ahead and start off the Ravens off schedule. Excuse me. They're going to start off at Raiders versus Chiefs, at Lions, and at Broncos. How do they start the season off?
Let's see. I think they'll beat the Raiders. I'm not very high on the Raiders this year. I think they'll lose to the Chiefs. They'll beat the Lions and beat the Broncos. So I think they'll start off 3-1.
Okay. I think they're 2-2. I think they're going to
have them losing to.
3 road games and the Chiefs at home. That's a tough gauntlet. I definitely think they'll probably lose to the Chiefs. But it is in Baltimore that does help them. But at the Raiders is a tough game to start your season off with. And I'm not positive that the Broncos are going to be terrible. I do think the Lions are going to have a hard time moving the ball, so they should win that one pretty handily. I think the Chiefs game is a loss, and probably the Broncos game, because that's just a hard place to play.
Yeah.
Okay, who did you draft? You got to keep me up.
I drafted Diggs.
Okay. I'm looking at 7 different screens at once.
Okay, you're going back to back now. Yeah.
So you got Diggs. So here I come, and I got CMC. I'm going to go ahead and grab Calvin Ridley, the number 1 choice in a team that's going to be behind a lot. And I'm going to go ahead and get your boy D-Hop. 1,400 yards last year. They have him estimated at 1,480 this year. I think that's understated considering there's an extra game. So I'm going to grab D-Hop. And so my team will now look like this. I've got Ridley, Hopkins, and McCaffrey, and you have Diggs and Kamara, and it's coming back to you.
Yep.
All right. So after that, at home against the Colts, at home against the Chargers, home against the Bengals, and home against the Vikings, you don't see a lot of 4 games at home, 4 games consecutively at home in the National Football League. How many of those do they win?
I'm gonna have to. I hate having them start off this hot, but I think they're gonna go 3-1 in the stretch. I think they'll drop a game to the Chargers, but outside of that, having that home advantage for 4-star games, I think it's gonna help them quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I do too. I don't know what game they lose there. I would actually have them winning, and they'll be 6-2 in my book as well. Where did you draft?
I just picked AJ Brown, right as you said that.
Okay.
So I got Diggs, AJ Brown, and Kamara.
Okay. So when you're coming back around this time again, you've got your 2 receivers, you got a running back. What are you looking at right now? Are you looking for the best running back available, or would you possibly slide somewhere else and try to start a run on something else?
I got my eyes on David Montgomery or Chris Carson right here. I'm pretty sure one of them will at least fall. I hope at least. I think those are the 2 best running backs on the board. I think Darrell Henderson.
No way that you go like Pat Mahomes or anything like that.
No, I'm not going receiver there. Quarterback this early. Sorry.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I could go with. Let's see. Is he still available? Yeah, Darrell Henderson's still on the board. I like Henderson this year.
There's a lot of really good receivers out there still left too. Evidently, there was quite the running back run.
I'm gonna go with Montgomery though. I'm gonna lock down that position.
I like that. I like what he has to offer this year. So you got Diggs, Brown, Kamara, Montgomery. Once again, y'all, this is an 8-team draft, so these teams are going to look more impressive than normal.
Yeah.
But it's also key that you don't screw the pooch because you're going to go up against juggernauts. You can't go, I'm taking this risk because you're going to go up against a team that's going to score 200 points every damn week. All right. So it's now my pick. And right now I'm sitting with my 1 running back, my 2 receivers. I'm going to look for the best value at this point because I still can throw something into the flex. I'm not in love with any of the running backs right now. So I'm going to go off the beaten path and grab Kittle. And then I'm also going to come back and I am going to, I guess I could go Carson. Let me see what are the running backs there. He worries. I'll go Henderson. I like Henderson.
I like that pick.
Carson concerns me. He's been banged up a lot the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And when he's on the field, he's great. But there's a lot of rumblings that he might be splitting time because they don't want to wear him down. That's great if you're a Seahawks fan. That's terrible if you're a fantasy football owner. You're like, oh God, what the hell? I can't carry 2 Seahawk running backs. It'll be a disaster. So it's coming back to you.
Looks like it. Let's see.
You've got Diggs and Brown and Kamara and Montgomery. So
you're kind of torn here.
What are you
thinking about? Woods or Cooper? One of the 2. I think I'm gonna go with Woods.
I personally would go with Woods. Well, I guess it doesn't matter because Cooper Kupp just left. Or were you talking about Amari Cooper?
I was talking about Amari Cooper. Sorry.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. The Woods Cup argument. I tend to go with Woods because bigger arm now is going to be, to me, a bigger upside for Woods, whereas Cup was more indicative. Look, when you had Goff there, Goff would look for Cup, right? I think Stafford's going to air it out. And so
Marvin Jones, he was a touchdown machine in Detroit.
Exactly. And he's not even being thought of in these drafts. He's going.
I think he could be a sleeper this year.
I do too. I was impressed with him in the preseason game. Now they didn't have DJ Chark, so that'll obviously affect things drastically when DJ Chark comes in. But I do think he's someone that Trevor's going to look towards around the end zone. Yeah. So it's coming back to you again. What are you thinking now?
I'm looking at quarterback and tight end right here. I always like to fill out the starting lineup first before I do anything else. And I think I'm going to go with Kyler here. I'll be a little bit of a homer, but I think he's the best available quarterback.
All right, so you went Kyler Murray. It's coming back to me. I'm going to have back-to-back picks. And see, my team real quick, I got Ridley and Hopkins, C-Mac, and Gerald Henderson. I've got an elite tight end. So I like that. And now I'm going to be looking at either I'm going to go with my flex or I'm going to go with depending on the quarterback situation. I don't feel like any of those quarterbacks jump out at me. I think they're all interchangeable. So I'm going to go with building more of my team. I'm going to take a flyer on ETN, but I'm going to cover my bases by grabbing Adam Thielen.
Okay.
So then that gives me Thielen sitting on my bench, but I could flip-flop him into the flex, and I'm still looking pretty good. Ridley, Hopkins, C-Mac, DMC, or DH, Kittle, ETN, and Thielen. So right now I've got 3 receivers. I got 3 running backs. I've got a tight end, and Bobby's coming up. He's got Murray, Diggs, Brown, Kamara, Montgomery, and Woods. Where are you going now?
I'm looking at Kyle Pitts here, but I also have a tight end that I kind of like in later rounds. Robert Tonyan. He's an absolute touchdown machine in the offense with Aaron Rodgers. I love him in fantasy. He was the 3rd ranked tight end last year.
Don't you have to go homer pick? I said, don't you have to go homer pick? Kyle Pitts, your boy.
I'll pick Pitts for the mock. I like Pitts a lot this year, and I think he'll do big things in that offense. But I do get a little bit iffy about drafting rookies, but I feel like Pitts is too much of a talent to pass up on.
As long as Ryan stays upright, I think he should have a good year. But I do think he's being reached for a little bit because he's a rookie. I think he's an incredible talent, but it does concern me. Man, Matty Ice he's old.
Yeah.
And he's not aging the way Brady ages. And one of the reasons is because he's getting the hell knocked out of him. So I would be concerned about that long term, but Kyle Pitts is going to be very difficult to deal with for defenses. I think you're going to have defenses focus very much on trying to stop Pitts, and they're not even going to be that worried about Ridley. They're going to be worried about stopping Pitts, which might open up the running game in Atlanta. All right. So
speaking of the running game, Mike Davis, he's one of my favorite players in fantasy this year, one of my favorite sleepers. He's going to be the running back 1 in Atlanta, and I think he's going to have a big role in that offense. But Ayuk still fell to this pick, so I'm going to take him. I had Ayuk last year, and he did wonders for me late in the year. He was like 20 points per game every week. So
yeah, I like Davis's possibilities. I really do. I think he's got an opportunity to do some things. Now I'm about to have back-to-back picks. We got a couple auto drafto teams, which means
like you probably get them here.
Which means that they'll probably be scooping up kickers or something here in the 8th round. No, the Pittsburgh defense. This already tells you this is why you don't want to auto draft, because here comes the computer coming in with their stupid picks. All right, so they grab defense. So I'm going to go running back, Myles Gaskin, running back, Mike Davis. That gives me a stable of running backs now on this team.
I think you're pretty set at that position.
Yeah, I've got C-Mac, I've got Henderson, and then sitting on my bench, I've got Gaskin and Davis. I also have ETN. And then my receivers, I'm pretty good. I've got, in most weeks, it's going to be D-Hop, it's going to be Ridley, but Adam Thielen gives you some good depth, and I'll be looking to add a receiver here or there. But when it comes back to me next time, I'll probably have to start looking at a quarterback because I've not done the quarterback yet.
Yeah.
Mainly because once it got to a certain point, there's about 5 or 6 guys. Kyler Murray is one of them. That if I don't get one of those, I'm not gonna go out there and just freak out, because Dak Prescott worries the hell out of me.
Yeah.
This guy's not playing yet.
Yeah, that injury last year, it's a little bit of a concern.
I've got to see this guy get on the field in preseason before I move him up in my personal rankings. Because I've been through these wars too many, and they go, oh, he's going to be fine. And then he's not fine. And you're like, Christ, I blew a 5th round pick on this guy. So that's why I'm a big believer that it's not going to happen. Back to the Ravens really quick before we get to you. Again, we finish it off on that. The four.
I think it was the Vikings game we left off on.
Yeah. So then we're at Dolphins, at Bears, Browns, at Steelers, at Browns.
That's a tough stretch.
That is.
Yeah. And that's where I see them start to drop games. I think they'll lose to the Dolphins on the road. I think they'll bounce back. I think they'll win a game against the Bears. I think they'll split with the Browns, and I think they'll split with the Steelers. So I'll have them going 2-3 in this stretch.
Okay. So you had them 8-5 at this point. All right, your turn to pick. What are you thinking? Right. What are you grabbing?
Let's see. I'm gonna go with the rookie here. I like his potential to be a big scorer this year, Javonte Williams.
Javonte Williams. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sean and Steven are really big on Trey Sermon. I don't know what to make of that because I worry about him getting vultured at the end zone.
Yeah, that's they use so many running backs in that offense that I'm a little bit worried about picking 49ers running backs.
I agree with that. The thing about your guy, he's got the opportunity that is there for him to be the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Because Melvin Gordon is starting to get long in the tooth.
Yeah.
And he could vulture Williams at the end zone, but Williams has the opportunity to be the starting running back in week 1. All right, It's back to me. I would like to have a little more depth at receiver just in case of injuries and whatnot. I'm going to grab OBJ. I know one thing, he's not going to be absolutely awful, but it is time for me to start looking at quarterbacks. And no one really jumps out at me, so I'm going to take a flyer and see if Jalen Hurts might stick against the wall.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm going to draft Jalen Hurts, at some point I'm going to have to draft a backup quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
If I have Mahomes, if I have Murray, I probably don't worry about a backup quarterback. I go, you know what? I'll stream a guy because I'm going to start him every week unless something happens, and I don't need that. I don't need that in my head. Right. I don't need guys tricking me. I'm over benching Mahomes because Sam Darnold threw for 300 yards last week. Oh, he might be on a roll. So I prefer if I don't have to get tricked. That's why I don't like carrying more than one tight end. Because you never have 2 elite tight ends. So I don't like to carry more than one tight end because you could, but if you have 2 elite tight ends, they better be.
I think I'm going to disprove you on that tight end theory because I'm going to go ahead and take Tanyan here just because I have a rookie starting at tight end.
Okay, but see, that's the point. Yeah. That's the point. Is if you're going to take Pitts, you almost feel like you have to take Tanyan.
Yeah.
If you would have waited and you didn't take Pitts and you took Tanyan, would you have taken another tight end?
I typically always get a backup for every position at least, and just I'll get one quarterback, one tight end backup, and then just load up on receiver and running back. That's typically my method.
This only has 6 guys for your bench. So you're talking about only having one running back, one receiver, one tight end, one quarterback, all backups?
No, I'll have multiple I'll have probably 2 wide receivers, 2 tight ends 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs on the bench, and then a quarterback and a tight end.
I guess I like having more of the what I call the real skill positions, wide receivers and running backs.
Mm-hmm.
And if my quarterback gets hurt, and I'm not saying that I don't draft a second quarterback, but it's a low priority for me.
Yeah.
If there's nothing else there, okay, I'll grab one. Now in the leagues that we're in, the benches are much deeper, so it kind of goes out because we usually have 7 to 8. And if you have 7 or 8 guys on your bench, it's a much different mindset on whether or not you want to have a backup. But in a 6-man bench right here, so my team is about to draft. And this is what I've got. I've got all my starters, and then I've got 2 receivers on my bench, 2 running backs on my bench.
I got one more bench slot left.
What's that?
Or I got one more bench slot left.
Yeah. So what I'm looking at right now, so these are 15 rounds. So we got 4 more picks.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have a kicker. You're gonna have a defense, and then what I'm going to do right now is I'm probably going to have to do a backup quarterback, so I might as well grab one now.
Mm-hmm.
Of all the guys that I'm looking at right here, I'll take a wild thing on Justin Fields, because if he sucks and it doesn't work out early in the year, all these guys are going to be sitting out there for pickups.
Yeah.
And I could slide in a Ben Roethlisberger or if Matt Ryan or whatever, right? But if I'm looking for an upside, what the hell, why not? All right. At the next thing I'm going to grab is a flex, the best flex available. The guy that I think is going to be like, okay, I think he'll be able to do some things. I'm pretty good at running back, so I'm gonna go. Oh, I just got auto picked. Never mind. Baltimore's defense. I was yapping. So I'll come back.
Got a good defense.
I'll come back and get a flex here in a second, and then we'll wrap this up. Damn. If I would have been picking right then, I would have taken Juju Smith-Schuster, and he just went off the board.
Probably wouldn't have seen much starting minutes though on that team, so not the biggest loss. Let's see.
You don't think he's going to be a starter?
Oh no, I meant on your team. Sorry.
Oh, I was like,
yeah, no, he'll start on the Steelers for sure.
Okay.
No doubt about that. No, that'd be outrageous.
I was about to say, is Antoine Randall coming out of retirement or something?
No, on your team. He'll definitely start on the Steelers with that receiving core.
Lynn Swan says it ain't over, baby. Let's go. One more year. If Ben Roethlisberger can play till he's 60, so can I. All right, so your team's coming up. Let's look at your team real quick. You don't have a kicker. You don't have a defense. That's pretty much where you have to go.
Yeah.
So
not much choice left there.
What defense are you looking at right now?
I like the Redskins or the Washington football team defense. Sorry. I like Washington's defense. They're not on the board right now, I don't believe.
No.
So next up, we'll probably have Denver. Their secondary is very nice this year. I mean, they went out and just loaded that up, drafting Surtain. They signed Fuller. So I like that defense a lot. I could see a lot of interceptions coming from there. So I'll go ahead and take them.
Cleveland, to me, is very, very interesting defense. Mm-hmm. They've added a lot. So I'm kind of looking at them. Buffalo. No way in hell I want Buffalo's defense. Have you lost your money? Buffalo. So I'll have. Oh, wait a minute. I don't need a defense. I got auto picked a defense. Forgot about that.
That's right.
All right. So I'm looking at guys that are sitting down here, kind of flipping around. This is the guy that I'm going to end up going with. Will Fuller.
Mm-hmm.
Alan Hearns. It just came out last night. He's going on the IR.
Yeah.
Will Fuller's only going to be suspended like a game. So I'm going to grab him and stash him. Probably won't ever use him at the beginning of the season, but you just never know. Then I'm forced to pick a kicker. So I'll grab Sanders out of Miami. He's solid. Well, I'm going to take this off, but you just tell me who you're going to pick for a kicker here in a second. Because I'm going to set up the end of the show. It's time to turn back time and get the hell on out of here. I'm glad that you understand kicker goes last. We have this every once in a while. And my argument with it always is, are you going to carry two kickers at any point in the season? No.
Hey, people pick two kickers?
No. Well, argument with Justin was he said he wants the best kicker. I said, but you're not going to carry him because when he hits his bye week, you're going to.
Yeah.
He's like, no, he's elite. So one year there was a famous argument with this. And I said, I just happened to mention at the time, this is when he was with Jacksonville. I said, dude, I'd rather have Allen Robinson than a kicker in the 5th or 6th round, whatever round it was. Right. And that's the round I drafted Allen Robinson. That's the year that he drafted a kicker. Allen Robinson got injured on the first series of the season, tore his ACL, and he was laughing about it. I didn't say much about it later in the year after Justin Tucker's bye week, which is who he was arguing for. It all comes from the Ravens. Coming off the bye week, I said, who's your kicker this week? He's like, well, I've got this guy because I I said, you know, Justin Tucker, no, had to drop him. I said, you know who does have Justin Tucker going into the playoffs? It was like dead silence. Said, I do. The guy that I picked his ass up just to make a point. I was like, I went in and made sure that I got him. I dropped like some Bobo Flex backup guy just so that I could win that argument. And then I dropped him after I didn't need him. I was like, it's not a kicker because you're never going to hold on to him. Time to turn back time. By the way, you haven't been on the show, I don't believe, since this has arrived. So this,
yeah, Matt was telling me about that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Long story short, Well, the gods are just trying to get me to drop that name. It's hell. Long story short, the morning draft that we're doing, it's going to be live here on Wednesday the 1st. The winner their name will go on that trophy. Past winners are on there, and then you'll get another trophy that will be sent to you. So that's what we're on that Wednesday morning. Turn back time as I rattled and prattled on right there on this date in 1937 in Cincinnati. The Cardinals beat the Reds 8-6 in a 9-inning game at Crosley Field. The final out of the 2.5-hour contest is recorded at 12:02 a.m., marking the first time in Major League history that a game ended after midnight because lights were in Crosley Field. Before that, they thought about that. And then what was it? 47 years later, the Braves and Mets would play a game until 4 a.m. on the 4th of July. That famously gets referenced every year. And I sat there and watched that damn game with my grandmother. She stayed up and watched Major League Baseball with me until 4 a.m. People wonder why. Birthdays.
It's your birthday today.
All right. Dead guy. Man, I swear to God, they're always trying to put freaking stupid cricketers in here on me. Dead guy. Let's go with how about Boot Powell?
Boot?
Boot Powell?
Is his name Boot?
Boog.
Boog. That's still a pretty cool name. No, I haven't heard of him.
He was the AL MVP in 1970 for the Orioles. He also played for the Mets. I think he's still alive, but this thing here has him passing. I think I'm gonna look that up in Baltimore because I'm pretty sure he's still. I'm pretty sure I saw him the other day.
He'd be pretty old about now, though.
He would be, but I don't think I don't unless COVID got him just recently. Guys who are still kicking, you do know who Christian Laettner is, right?
Yeah.
Christian Laettner is 52 years old.
Yeah, one of the most hated players in college basketball history.
For no apparent reason. One of my favorite players in college basketball history. He's the guy that beat Kentucky. How the hell do you not love that? What is your walk-off for the day? Oh, and by the way, he lives somewhere in Jacksonville.
Huh. That's pretty neat. At noon and at 6, I believe, the Yankees and Red Sox are playing. One of the biggest rivalries in sports, obviously, but it's also two pretty important games for a playoff race.
It is. Have you been getting into some baseball here over the past few weeks?
I try and keep up with it a little bit more towards playoffs just because I'm a casual fan. I won't deny it. I mean,
no, I know that.
So,
and I know that you're a Rays fan. Do you pay attention to games outside the AL East? Because a lot of fans just pay attention to their teams, their division.
Yeah, I typically just keep up with mostly the Rays' success and who I need them to beat and who I need to lose. So
yeah, that's an important game. I'm going to say it again because I've been saying it all for 2 weeks now. Padres better get their head out of their ass because the Reds are hard charging. They're a game and a half out, and the Padres have the Phillies on the docket at the end of the week. If the Padres don't wake up, they're going to wake up Monday morning. They're going to wake up Tuesday morning, the next time you're on the show, and they will not be the leader in the wild card. And they've had an enormous lead all summer. My walk-off for the day is Waskier Noah is back from his injury. I'm excited for that. But I love when there's a random day game in baseball on a Tuesday because you always get them on Wednesdays. You usually get them on Thursdays. Those are the getaway days, but you don't get a lot of these Tuesday day games. So looking forward to that. And also something that people, and look, everyone knows what's one of the things that you know about me. I'm not a fan of ESPN, right? I don't like the way that their company does. I think they're dirty, but I will be locked into ESPN from around 7:00 tonight going forward. It begins their fantasy football marathon. And so they will have fantasy football now on tonight and it's just fun to have it on in the background. I don't really. I think Matthew Berry's kind of a clown, but he is entertaining. In other words, I don't pay attention to his rankings. His rankings are always terrible, but I do enjoy the content, so I'll watch that. And then their draft will be tomorrow night. I always watch their draft.
Yeah.
Because we always grade their draft. By the way, breaking news. This isn't a walk off. Tim Tebow has been released by the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, he didn't look too hot in that preseason game.
Dude, that guy screwed him. I don't know if you saw the beginning of the show, but go back and watch the beginning of the show. In our intro, the video of the catch that he was going to have.
Oh yeah, that he was about to have a catch. He was open.
Yeah, that idiot Tavon Austin cut right in front of him. I'm like,
his blocking. Did you see that?
He had a chance to have this one big moment. Well, but you know what? He did the job. The guy got blocked.
That is fair, yeah. Yeah,
everyone made a big deal. You don't think Tim Tebow knows how to block? I mean, there's one thing he knows how to do is a block. The guy moved out of his way, so he just rolled over. What the hell's Tebow supposed to do? Pile drive him into the ground on a preseason game and break the guy's rib? But yeah, Tavon Austin, you screwed Tebow, man. You also screwed the thousands and thousands of people that bought his jersey.
Yeah, okay.
Sale everywhere in Jacksonville. All right, brother. We will see you next week, sir. Have a great
Thank you. Have a good one.
Goodbye, sweetheart. It's time to go. We're back tomorrow with another show. Well, unless we're fired, we'll talk to you then. Goodbye, sweetheart. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Guys and gals, it's time to go. We'll see you on the next show.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Thanks for listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks on these CBS Sports affiliates and catching the show on YouTube Live. We're here weekdays. Find Armchair Quarterbacks on YouTube Live today. Please subscribe and share and take us everywhere you go. The Armchair Quarterbacks, your first choice for Southern sports talk, live from the First Coast.